Hello, my name is Michael Pravica. I'm a physicist, and I just wanted to comment about some of the crisis that is ongoing and accelerating in the United States pertaining to American science and higher education. Whatever I say in this transmission has nothing to do with anyone I've ever worked with or am currently working with, any organization. I'm just speaking out as a private citizen who loves my country and is extremely concerned at the loss of innovation and our technological preeminence, which is going to have dire consequences for decades to come. So the thing is that the Trump administration has been defunding science and STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and also there has been within the Trump administration a very anti-intellectual, anti-science view of science, a view that's very anti-science. And so I first wanted to explain that science is natural philosophy. It is basically the world that we were born into, that we very poorly understand, are still understanding, despite many millennia of over 200,000 years of human existence. Though we've made strides, but still we have a long way to go. And of course, in as part of this understanding, this gives us more of a sense of who we are and our purpose within this amazing universe. So the problem is that in the past, America supported science very strongly, particularly after World War II, as America took the forefront in terms of expanding its industrial capacity, and as a result, we had incredible miracles that derived from funding of scientific research. This effort, by the way, was largely led by Vannevar Bush, and he was sort of the first director of the these national organizations like the National Science Foundation, NASA, that funded scientific research. And much of that funded research went to universities. And so, to give you just a small smattering of a perspective of what was generated, the transistor was invented here in the 1950s, and by AT&T Bell Labs, but through funded research. And then the IC chip, the integrated circuit chip, was invented that could put hundreds of thousands of transistors on one small IC chip that, of course, for example, runs laptop computers and other electrical devices. So essentially, and that was developed here by a physicist and an engineer. And so the laser was developed here, university research. Um, NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance, which later morphed into magnetic resonance imaging or MRI, that was invented here in the United States, all via funding for scientific research. I happen to know two of the professors who were responsible for discovering and developing nuclear magnetic resonance, Robert V. Pound and Edward Purcell, who later won the Nobel Prize, and they were both at Harvard. And so the point is that America was largely made great because of science. Our economy, our national security, and our well-being are highly dependent on science. And so the crisis here is that what grew America's economy was largely the science. Can we grow more crops? Can we develop techniques to hone certain species of plants that can be very productive? Can we develop improve farmland? For example, ammonia synthesis, the Haber process, which was invented in Germany, extended to World War I, sadly, by a number of years. But that simple process, which could extract nitrogen and hydrogen from the atmosphere, uh, produced ammonia, which humans had never been able to do before. And then ammonia could then either be turned into uh, explosives or fertilizer. And of course, that fertilizer is used all over the world to improve crop yields. So the current, billions of citizens, of humans that live on this planet would never be able to live in this number and with the kinds of longevity that they on average have without science. So let's be clear. There is nothing more important to this country than science, because science, by interrogating the world in which we live, we develop insights. With those insights, we develop technology. With that technology, we can gain further insights, but we can also aid our lives. So I'd like to put a question to just the ordinary American. Do we want to go back to caveman times or the 19th century, where you were lucky if you lived past the age of 40 or 50, where many women died in childbirth, where we were horse and buggy, so we had very little technology, where African American slaves picked cotton without the cotton gin? So we have that choice. We can always go backwards, or we could continue going forwards. But at this moment in time, this country has now stopped essentially innovating. Without scientific research, you cannot innovate. You're not going to be able to. You can, little here and there improvements, yes, but the essentials, of technology. Boeing airplanes, for example, you can see Boeing's collapsing. Okay, because most of the leaders of Boeing and many other corporations, and our political leaders and our social leaders, are scientifically illiterate. They have no clue what it was that actually made America great. Okay. And it was that explosion of scientific research post 1945, even during World War II, that really expanded America's industrial technological might and ability to innovate. When you can innovate, now you can you take the precedence and the preeminence in terms of technology, and people want to buy your technology. Okay, so the point is that now Donald Trump and Elon Musk are defunding science, and people might say, "Oh, these are elite colleges and everything." No, 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 no. This is all over. All universities are suffering. Okay, and for this claim of, okay, DEI, these protesters. Okay, fine. But so are there problems with academia? Of course. Are there issues where scientists have kind of gone to the because of money, because of politics, such as Anthony Fauci? Yes, and therefore have they besmirched the true aim of science, which Nikola Tesla said should only be the betterment of humanity? Absolutely. But what this administration is doing is killing science. It's killing higher education. So here's the hypocrisy. Donald Trump said we want to have we're going to invoke tariffs because we want to reindustrialize America. Okay, that's fair. That was always a problem, that these anti-intellectual, scientifically illiterate business leaders went and outsourced all of their production and taught China and other nations and India how to do what was developed here. And so now, of course, what do we produce? Faulty Boeing airliners. Okay, so the point is, we have these tariffs, and the idea is to use those tariffs to reindustrialize. Now, to reindustrialize, where are we going to get the engineers? Where are we going to get the scientists? Where are we going to get the technicians, the architects? These people are needed to build these new factories. And remember, America has a high level of technology, more than any other nation in the world. But it's like, think about owning a very high performance sports car, a Ferrari or a Porsche. Okay. So the essence here is that we have inherited this highly technological nation, America, from the hard work of earlier scientists and engineers. But now we're not able to train enough scientists and engineers to sustain, let alone grow that technology. Who's going to manufacture the top-notch airliners that people are going to want to purchase? Who's going to manufacture the IC chips that are going to go into the computers that people are going to buy? Okay, China produces more STEM graduates, and this was in the New York Times, than America produces all college graduates in all fields. Okay, that's a tragedy for America. And now we've also persecuted higher education. Okay, and again, I don't know what's going on, but the incompetence of this administration is tragic. Okay, so the point is, we've now persecuted higher education. We've defunded it. So the point is, how are we going to produce graduate students to get PhDs, master's degrees, architectural degrees, doctors, medical doctors? How are we going to train the medical doctors? Okay, so this is stupid. This is the most ridiculous thing I can imagine. We are Donald Trump and his administration with Elon Musk shamefully. We're not going to train enough engineers, and then on top of that, the icing on the cake is now we have this visa restrictions, $100,000 H-1B visa, and so that's going to kill any desire for foreign students to want to study here at our nation's universities, which are among the best in the world. And so now, in the past, those students would fill those gaps for to be trained in science and engineering, but now they're going to be non-existent. So the thing is, it's going to be like in the old days. We're talking the 1930s, all right, or earlier, when only the elites were able to get a serious education, and America was largely just a rural, ignorant nation, agricultural nation that really didn't produce much. That's a tragedy, an absolute tragedy. So I never would have imagined that we would be in this situation right now where this administration is literally destroying science in America and destroying the practitioners of science who teach science and train the next generation of scientists in higher education. Knowledge is a flame that when it is extinguished, it's awfully hard to restart. And the point is, we are not going to be able to transfer knowledge to the next generation of Americans. And China and other nations that understand the importance of science and supporting science, they're going to have us for lunch. Thank you very much for your attention.